Hey everybody, welcome back to my creative world, and today we're going to be doing a blueprint build guide. For those who don't have the time or patience, you can get this straight from my Patreon. Alternatively, let me show you how to build these bad boys. In this build guide, I'll be showing you how to build the manufacturer, but you can use the exact same technique to build a constructor, assembler, blender, as well as a converter. Alright, let's get to it. Right, so you're going to go and grab your manufacturer and try and get this bad boy on here. There we go. That's pretty good for now. And the first thing that I usually do is I go to customizer and I make a custom color for me that I'm going to use. And the reason I do this is that if I transfer the blueprints to either somebody else or to a new save, if you use any of these, whatever these are will be overwritten. I will override these colors and they will come out looking different. So if you want to maintain your color profile, then make sure it's a custom one. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to get this little corner thing going here. So to do that, I'm just going to grab this from here. This little metal beam. And I'm going to work directly off this example, because this one is after a bunch of iterations that I actually got to this design at the end. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this one, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And the first thing we want to do is we want to get that little arch going, because everything's going to go from the arch. So let's see, I'm going to go 3 up, and then I'm going to only do like the 1/2 of it. So I'm going to do this half section right here, and then I'm going to save as a blueprint and then duplicate it on the other side. First of all, to keep consistency, and second of all, it's just going to be less work. Keep it nice and easy for ourselves. So one thing I do want to check though is, you see we've got our foundation here, so we can use this as a means of a measure. So to keep things uniform, I'm going to do this. Grab this guy, pull him across. So you'll see I'm in default mode, so everything's going to line up nicely, horizontal and vertical. Right, so that looks about right. Now the one technique that you guys need to learn to be able to do what I do in this example is how to get a nice clean corner. So if I go to free mode, see, that is not going to work. And the way to fix that is go here, page up, mini nudge, and then this one to that side. And what you're looking for is, if this is your corner, so in other words, if you look over here, you can see there's your corner piece. You want to go to the outside corner always. So whether it's a corner like this, you know, like this, or whichever way, always look at it from inside versus outside. And then from here, you want to go in free mode, and you want to attach your beam that's going to be in the middle here. You want to attach it to this little bit you placed outside, or move to the side and move to the top. And you want to press H there, but as soon as you press page down, you'll see it's not going to work. So you're going to have to press page down, and in this case, right arrow at the same time. And hold control. Otherwise, it's going to go too far. And there you go. So now if you remove these, you'll see you got a perfect corner. Now the thing we want to check is just see how long more or less. So that's going to be a 2 meter. So this is definitely a 2 meter. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that's the one side of it. So let's save this as, just in case we either crash or something happens, just say this is a temp one. So I always do that for my temporary builds, and I just kind of like keep building on it. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is, once we've got this little corner set up, we're going to do the top piece as well. So you can see we've got gray here, so I might as well steal these colors. So I'm going to grab this one. So, oh, that's right. We need to paint this one black, and then this beam, it's going to be here. It's going to be our gray one. So you'll see here, we've got different snapping points here now. So if you move your mouse around, you'll find that you can actually snap it right there at the end, like there. And that's basically what you want. But you'll see you'll run into a problem as soon as you want to do it with this one. You see, it doesn't go to the edge. And we want that to be a nice clean corner. So this isn't too bad. But since we're in the blueprint maker, let's do it properly. Alright, so let me grab... So I'm going to go with dark gray here. Because outer side is going to be dark gray. Usually I do the coloring at the end, but since we're already here, we might as well give it a go. Alright, so I want to sort this corner out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, save this, and clear the blueprint maker, and then spawn it in, not load it in. There we go. And I'm going to spawn this one, not necessarily on the same place, but definitely in the same orientation. And you guys will see now, in a moment, why I do this. So I'm going to do this again. Get this guy. Get that guy. And now that we've got this one in position, we can take this blueprint out. Because that's all I needed. It's just this. And we want to do diagonal. And I'm going to hold controlling again and nudge it down. I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to say temp 2. But I'm also, let's give this something that we can recognize very easily. I'll do the little present. No, actually, hold on. Let's do we'll do the doggo. I'm going to make this like a nice bright red, so I can easily spot it. Alright, so, and the reason we did that is when we load the one that we're busy with, we can now go to blueprints and I can spawn this one in. Again, not load it, just spawn it in. And I can use this to nudge it into position. And there we go, got a perfect fit. Sometimes you'll see that if you try to place this there manually, it won't allow you to do that because it thinks that it's overlapping another item, which it is. But if you make it a blueprint, then it doesn't care for that. So we'll save this. Right, so we've got this one section up here. This is kind of like the important section. Then if we go back here, we'll see that we're using a bunch of painted beams just to keep going on the corners, and we actually went in 4 in. So in fact, let me just grab this guy here. So just make sure that you are actually on the edge when you do this. You can easily see there. It is on the edge, and it is on the edge. It doesn't matter if these orientations are different. That's perfectly fine. Alright, so what I want to do now is I'm going to grab this guy, go over to here, and then we're going to face it correctly. Do our little trick again, then go across. So we're going to have to use our snapping points to be able to get this absolutely right. There we go, and we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's do all 4. Okay, there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be fine, and then let's get them to go across like that. And as you can see, I'm just kind of like working off the previous example to make sure that that everything lines up. There we go. Alright, so we're going to save this one again. And what I want to do now is clear blueprints. I'm going to spawn it in again, but I'm going to turn this one around. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it over here because all I want to do is just I'm going to get rid of all these. I just want to keep the cage. There we go. As you see, it doesn't matter if you highlight the blueprint maker. If there's something on the blueprint maker, you'll see that it won't delete. Right, so we're going to save this one now as our other temp, so temp 2. And the cool thing with 1.2 is that you'll see it will automatically load your icons and everything. So this is kind of like saves us a couple of steps, which is always nice. Right, so from here, load our temp 1 again. We can probably rename that just so we can spot it easier. I'm going to grab this guy. And just kind of like placing it on here because that's exactly the height that we saved it on. We can just nudge this guy into position, and we want to double check that we've got it in the right position. So that's perfect. The one thing though is I'm gonna actually do this. And the reason we do this is because we want to save ourselves a little bit of work. So I'm going to delete all of these. Then blueprints, we can go back to this one. I'll put this guy over here. Perfect, and then we're just going to delete all of these. And there we go. A lot quicker of a way to just kind of like duplicate items, save yourself the trouble of actually rebuilding it from scratch. So let's do manufacturer. There we go, just so we can spot this guy easier. Manufacturer. I'll do the little snow guy so I can, again, like I can spot it easier. Yeah, that's perfect. Save this guy. All right, cool. All right, so next up, what we want to do is we want to. You can see this is kind of like right against the machine. Okay, so let's move this manufacturer a little closer, because you'll see in the example bit that I've got it's right up there against it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the front bit. So you can see, oh, we're missing one. We actually got 3 here. So let's quickly fix that. There we go. So we're gonna pop this guy off, and grab him again from that side, and we're gonna nudge him in, lift it up by 1, and I wanted to just gonna be in. And again, like I said, I can reference this here. And obviously you guys can just copy what I'm doing. So you can see, trying to see how I see to this. And you'll see that it's right up against it. Just trying to make sure that I'm looking at the right thing, yeah? So there we go. So all we need to do now is raise the platforms a little bit. And there we go. So you can see it's already starting to take shape. And at this point in time, it doesn't look too bad, but we can add a little bit more detail just to make it pop a little bit more. And as you can see, the whole idea behind this is to kind of like extend this flat little bit here out towards over the display. So it looks like this entire thing is just an extension of the machine. Okay, so next up, we're gonna have yeah, let's get the display side of it running. So this one can be a little tricky, because we're gonna have 4 inputs here, and then we're gonna have the display right next to it. And for this one, you can see I'm squishing it right up in there, and this actually still works perfectly fine. Now, if you're building, just use whatever belt works for you. I'm gonna stick with Mark 5s, but you can obviously do whichever one you like. And just make sure that you've got your arrows the right way. And the way to see whether these ones are not in too deep, for instance, is if you try and add a belt there, you'll see there's no arrows there, which means those arrows are occupied, which then means the machine is being, the machine is literally hooked up. Oop, we missed the last one. There we go. Alright, so we've got those ones in. And then what we want to do next is we want to try and get this display in here. So you'll see the display kind of sticks out a little bit here, runs across, and then goes down. And that's obviously going to be a Mark 1 because it is for display. I've had some people comment saying that they would like it to be item counter. And if you want it to be an item counter, this is kind of like where you'll change it and you'll put in an item counter. So I want to double check where I've placed this one. So you'll see it's right next to the last rib section. And this one needs to go out slightly, because I want the detail of the of this lift to show through there. And you can, if you want, nudge it in and not have the lift show at all. But sticking to replicating my previous design, I'll show you guys how I did it. But like, if you want to add your own flair in here, absolutely go for it. So it's going to be right over there. I just want to double check this one. See, this one's slightly off. The thing with the blueprint maker is you always want to take your time and do it properly. Because if it is done decently, then yeah, this is the place and the time to do it properly. And I'm going to go to Mark 1 for display purposes. And if we double check over here, we can see, yep, everything is good, everything's the same. I'm going to do my custom color again. Alright, so we've got that going. So let's go into the guts of it. So what's going to happen here is You're gonna have your 4 inputs here, and I left these blank, so you guys can, when you place it in your factory, you can do whatever you need to do. But to get this thing to go around, as you see on the example pieces here, it's a continuous display, so it doesn't stop. So this will go whether the machine has anything in it or not, whether the machine is off, it doesn't matter. These things will keep going. So I've made like a loop at the bottom that will keep going as long as you've got some sort of output hooked on. Even if the machine is on or off, no power, whatever, this display will keep going as long as there's room to offload one item that it produces. It also means that if the machine is not producing anything, the display will still be showing. So like I said, this is a display model. So how this works is we've got our output here at the back. So let's actually hook this guy up. And then from here, as you can see here in the example, I went out, I went into a merger that goes into here, and this is the output. And the reason this output works is you'll see it goes in from here to there, and then from here you've got overflow and any, so it will cycle to the right first, and then when it can't cycle to the right anymore, it will push out on either this side or this side where I marked in the output. And this is just so you guys can hook it up wherever you feel like. And just to avoid confusion as to what all these extra belts are for, that's why I add this little item in here. It just says item loop. So all we're going to do is I'm going to copy this one, and we're just going to basically duplicate this little section here. So put this guy up here, and we're going to go into a merger. Right, so remember the belt's going to come, if I place this over here, the belt's going to come out here, and you're going to hook it around and link it up in this side here. So again, what I usually do to avoid me placing an item here, like that, that's perfectly fine though, is I actually delete this one, and when this is in place, you'll see it will automatically connect. It's just saves a little bit on items in general. Right, so this guy's going to go this side, give him the color, and I usually like to do right angles just to make it look much neater. Custom color again. And then this guy is going to go into a smart splitter. Let's just make sure that it's lined up. There we go. I'm going to nudge this out a little bit. Custom colors all around, and I copied over the settings, so I'm just going to paste it in here. Control V, and just double check it. All looks good. And then this one is going to go there. And let's make sure that this is going to, yeah, so this is going to work perfectly fine. Alright, so let's just save this guy. There we go. Alright, so the items are going to go out from production into this line. It's going to go to the right first. It's going to go up here. And it's going to go down this Mark 1 in the display area, go down, around, and then in the loop again. And as soon as the loop gets full, it will spit it out to the side here. And for those wondering, just go to layout, choose the one with the little arrow here. You can, there's a couple options. Actually, this one looks kind of nice. I'll do this one. And then set your emission strength to 3. You can choose between those, whatever you want. And then just the color, if you want the color code, there it is. It's this one here. And we're going to close it down. So that looks kind of nice. In fact, you know what? Yeah, looks better, I think. Looks much better. Alright, save it again. Okay, so this machine should now be functional. So now we're just going to dress it up a little bit more. Oh, one more thing. Let's quickly sort out the power. Now, what I like to do with power is do like this and get some light on here. We're going to place it at like a convenient place for what I think will be convenient for you guys. So just put it over there. And then what I like to do is I'm going to sample this one, click right there, and I'm just going to lock it into that position. But what I'm going to do is to basically hide the cable, I'm just going to nudge this guy right up to there and down and in. So I'm basically going to have it inside the machine. Let's do it a little bit to the left, a little bit more. Place that, guys. So now you can see the cable is nice and neatly hidden, and it will connect at the bottom here, just to make it obvious that this is where the power is, especially if you're on like a very busy factory. Adding a little sign there is definitely going to be appreciated by everybody. That should be fine. And I'm just going to do the other side. There you go. So once you place, you know exactly where your power point is. Okay, so machine is pretty much functional now. So let's dress it up a little bit. And if I look, take this one out. So we'll do like a deep blue for this one. And we just need a snapping point anyway, basically. So you know what, before we take it in, let's quickly change it. I'm just going to mix things up a little bit. Say you don't want to go too dark, because otherwise you're going to lose some of that emission strength. So I think that blue is going to look kind of nice. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so find a snapping point, and for these you can even do it over here. I'm just going to nudge it in all the way. I kind of want to go as far back as I can without stuff clipping in the back. And we can see here, I think, yeah, if it's over there, I think that's going to be perfectly fine. Do this one as well. To make sure that you've got the same depth, just go to where it clips and then control nudge for like a mini nudge backwards. Place this one there. Again, clip back one and just get it into position. So that nice deep blue looks kind of cool. I like that. Okay. And then, and to make our lives a little easier, I'm actually going to save this. Let's call this, well, I said deep blue, so let's go with deep blue. So it's going to make our lives easier, because we're going to have to use some of the other signs now to get that inlet section set. So what I mean by that is this little bit here. Might as well grab this guy while I'm there. And this one's going to go just slightly in on the glass. So the glass is going to be in the middle of this beam right here. And we're going to place this one pretty much as close as we can to the glass, but I don't want it to clip through the glass though. So I'm just going to nudge it a little bit off to the side so it can clip through that area there. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to do deep blue. Nice, look at that, it looks kind of cool. Alright, so we're going to do the other side and then fill the gap. And again, I just wanted to clip in a little bit so it goes all the way to the edge. Alright, it's looking good. So we want to do this little section now. So I'm going to do, I think 2 meters is probably going to be fine. Yeah, so now we've got a lot of lighting here, which is looking really snazzy. Alright, so now looking at the example again, we can see, okay, we pretty much nailed everything up. We actually even added more lights in here, which is cool. Let's add this little section here, because these little danger signs are always nice to have. Adds a little more color into the design. And then we're going to add the glass in here. This guy's going to go right here. Nudge it into position, make sure it's in the right place, so I want it to be there. Now we need to nudge this down. Perfect. Just so it doesn't kind of like clip through here. And then duplicate it to the other side. And there we go, that looks pretty good. Now just to kind of hide this little section here, that little white piece, I'm going to grab this bad boy. And we're just going to finish the trim on the bottom side of it. So let's grab the black one. And okay, when you get to this issue here, you can try and do it from the other side. Sometimes that works. Like you see now it doesn't. So just go from the center out and you'll avoid that issue. So the reason this one doesn't want to place there and it went red is because your starting point, it doesn't like to have multiple starting points on the exact same position. So if you start from the middle and go out, the ending point on that starting point here for the original one, like that one. So if you just change, just kind of like mix it up a little bit and start from the center out as opposed to just having one long beam, then it works fine. Let's see if we can place this in one go. And yeah, I didn't think so. We're gonna have to see. I'm just gonna choose a different starting point again. Go to that point there. I'm gonna turn it with 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, because that's gonna be 45. Just gonna lock it in position there and just see if I'm happy with that point. And all this does is just adds a little bit more detail to the build. So 3 clicks, go to the side, and because I started at a different point and moved outwards, this blueprint is happy to, or those pieces are happy to sit there as long as they don't have the same starting point. This doesn't look too bad, but we can definitely do better. And after a bunch of experimentation, what I found is if you use these sides and these little catwalks, you can actually get away with get some cool detail going. Right, now the thing is, we don't want to place it like this. We want the underside of the sign, and the easiest way to do that is just go underneath, get it to line up, lock that in. So it doesn't matter where you place it as long as it's at the bottom and on that foundation, because we know the foundation is lined up. And we're going to try and get it right in there. So see, perfect. And let's see on our example. You see we went up to the edge, and this one went almost over to the edge. So we'll see what works. I think for this one, I'm gonna do it halfway in. There we go. And I need another one because I want to do these three as well. Right, so you'll see now we've got a real interesting issue here. You see it's right in the middle. And what I would do here is I'll just go to this edge, and you can see you can slide it here on the edge a little bit. And hopefully this is going to be just right. If not just right, hopefully close enough. It's close enough. And just to save myself a little trouble, I'm just going to go off this one because it looks like this will line up. There we go, perfect. And get the sign in there. Right, so it's already looking good. And the nice little bonus is because it looks like you're extending this little bit here, it sells the illusion of this being just the standard machine but slightly longer. Grab this guy, and just any way where you can find a snapping point is perfect, and just nudge everything into position. And I wonder, let's do it like that. So this is obviously where you can play around quite a bit. You can even maybe do that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. Slightly different from this one. Alright, and then we want to have these little beam supports. So again, just find a snapping point where the orientation is correct. And I'm just going to mini nudge this into position, move it around. Just add these three in here. So you can either space them out. I think, did I line these up next to each other? Yeah, these are all squished together. But you can space them out if you like. Pretty much just experiment. Right, so I'm trying to get this one. Oh, wait, hold on. Slight issue here. So we've got a little bit of overlap here, so I'm going to try and fix this. And with the sign being here, we luckily won't see any flickering, because they will be flickering as these two catwalks overlap. But that's going to be covered up by the sign, so that's quite convenient. So let's see if we work off this foundation, if this is going to be adequate. Hopefully this lines up. It should get either perfectly or very close. Alright, so if I look at these, you can see I think this is a custom height that I chose. Because if you nudge this down, you'll see it's not going to line up well. You could maybe get away with this. Let's just have a quick look and see what this looks like. Because it looks like it's slightly under the machine. Which, let me try the shelf. And the reason I want to do this one is because it's got a nice end piece here. Alright, just change the color though. I was hoping we wouldn't have to clip that much into it. Alright, let's work off this one so we make sure that we've got the exact same height. And rotation, just move this all the way across. Whoops. To there, perfect. And grab this guy again. And push him over. Oh, I think we went out a little bit. Yeah, we absolutely did. And take this one out. I'm going to grab this one because it's already painted. And turn it 90 degrees, place it in there, and that's looking quite nice. Again, I think we only have one more little detail to add, which is this guy. So I want to show you guys how I've got this guy to fit in here nicely. So to get this into position, it takes a little finagling. Novatech recently did a video where they showed how to do this more precisely and consistently. I'll show you how I did it initially, but I recommend you actually use the other method and see if that works, because once you've got that set up, it's going to be a lot easier. But I'll show you how I did it, and it's going to be exactly the same way as the video I did where I was knocking their technique, even though I think it is actually superior. So I'm going to use this little catwalk here, and we're going to try and see if we can nail it on the first guess. So I'm just sliding this up and down the pillar, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see a little yellow bit where the pillar starts sticking out. That's how much the sign will be closer into the pillar there. So I'm going to see if I can nail it. So onto the catwalk. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Try and think what's going to be a quicker way of doing it. And because I don't want this little leg, I'm just going to snap this guy at the bottom and then nudge it into position and see how close we can get. So you'll see now. There we go. Don't worry about the height right now. We're just looking for depth. I'm going to delete this guy. So you'll see we're out a little bit. So this is where my technique versus the one that Novatech does differs quite a bit. Mine's a little bit more finagly, and his is way more precise. So I think his is the better one, definitely. But I'm going to use this one because I want to show you guys how I do it originally. So you'll see now I need to go that much in, and this is where the eyeballing comes in. So you're going to have to now move this one back the same amount. So we're going to delete this one, and I'm just going to place this one as a marker, move the original one. Now we need to move it back that amount. And we're just going to slide it, and like I said, eyeballing it. There we go. Place this guy on here, and I'm going to do another one at the bottom because I don't want the little leg. And so we can see here now, if you place this one, we're basically like a few millimeters too deep in. Alright, so after 2 more tries, I got it where it's nice and flush. And all you need to do now is try and get this color to match this color as close as you possibly can. To give the illusion of just text in here. Let's save this one, manufacturer. And then the very last step that you need to do is we need to test it to make sure that it's working before we call it job done. Let's do some fluctuators, because I like the look of them. If we look in front, there we go, some fluctuators are fluctuating, and the display is working perfect. These guys are going through. Now you'll see it will loop around. There we go. It will loop around until the display belt is full. So what we'll do is, this guy's doing 10 a minute, so it's going to take a moment before, you can see it's already filling up, but it's going to take a minute to fill up. So I'm just going to spawn in a bunch. Alright, and let's fill this guy up, and there we go. So you'll see the display will fill up now, and then when we go to the bottom, you can see the excess is already being pumped out. Alright, so all of the excess ones have been, that isn't required for the display, has now been sunk or moved on. And then you'll see in the display area, you've got like a full display now going nuts. And this display will stay full regardless of what the machine status is. The only time the display will stop is if we remove the outgoing belt, and if it's at capacity. So as soon as these items here can't go anywhere, obviously then it will stop. There we go. So it took a moment, but the belts are now all full, so now the display will stop. That just means that your output is either clogged up, or there's something wrong, or there's an issue with your output. Then the machine will stop. But yeah, as soon as you add your output to the machine again, you see the display will resume. There we go. And that's it, guys. So we've got constructor constructing things, you've got the assembler assembling stuff, manufacturer is manufacturing, the blender is blending, and a converter is doing its thing, and then we've got a liquid version of the converter as well. And there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little guide into building these machines with displays. For those interested in the other machines, you can use the exact same technique that I was using for that one, just to adapt it to these machines. Or you can go to my Patreon and you can subscribe as one of my supporters, which will give you access to all of my blueprints for tier 2 and up. Alternatively, if you don't want to do anything subscription based, you can just go to my Patreon shop and you can buy the individual items at a very reasonable price, or you can just buy the combo pack, which will give you all of these machines, the 2 converters, and all of these guys as well. That's it for today's video, and I hope you learned 1 or 2 things. And then lastly, for my Patreon supporters, I'd like to thank you guys again for your continuous support, which allows me to do interesting projects like these. And I'll see you guys on the next one.